If you want to succeed in anything, whether that's in your business, whether that's in your career, in your learning and studying, or in educating your children at home, the best and easiest way to do that is to look at the people who have achieved what you want to achieve, who have taken that path that you're on right now, and to look at them and see, what did they do? What did they learn? How did they think? And what qualities did they have that helped them to achieve what you hope to achieve? So in today's episode, we're going to look at people who have succeeded in educating their children at home and the qualities that they had to get them there. Let's go.
This is Raising Mums, the podcast that raises up Muslim mums like you so that you can raise your children well. And here's your host, Dr. Gemma.
Not so long ago, one of my children had their friends over. And so I made a really big effort. We got special snacks in. I made sure that they had everything they need at home. I even took them out and we went to visit a few places. And then after we dropped them home, we were in the car on the way back, and my child turned to me and started complaining that we hadn't done this, that we hadn't bought that. And I got so upset and so angry because I said to them, don't you see how much effort I already put in? We bought this, we did this, and I did that all for you so that you would be happy, so that you could make good friends. And I felt like that particular child was not showing gratitude. And that's when it clicked. That I do exactly the same thing. Maybe not to my children, maybe not to my parents, but I certainly do it to Allah. I take from the air that I breathe, from every single heartbeat that courses through my body, from the food, from everything that I have around me and the luxury which I live in. It's all from Allah. And yet, in my heart, I am not satisfied. In my heart, I want more. Maybe I even complain about not having certain things. And all the while, I have no gratitude for what I have already been given. My child in that moment taught me something really, really valuable. That I am not being grateful to my Lord. And what a beautiful lesson that is. And that is one of the qualities of people who are able to homeschool successfully. Not only do they appreciate that homeschooling means learning alongside their child, but it also means learning from your child. When you look at people who have been homeschooling for many years, maybe you have people like that in your community, you'll see that there's a humility about them, that they appreciate that they are not perfect. They appreciate and accept that they don't have all the answers. And although they do have a role in teaching their child, they fully embrace the fact that their child can teach them. And this acceptance of being imperfect is a really important quality when you homeschool your children. I just want to pause for a message because I have an upcoming course in October that I think you might be interested in joining. I've been working officially with home educating parents since 2015, and I have learned that the single biggest factor that determines whether or not that homeschooling family thrives, whether or not they are able to give their children an excellent education at home, and whether or not they can keep doing it year after year. The single biggest factor that determines that is the well-being of the mother. In particular, the way that she feels. If you are ready to fully embrace and step into your role as a home educating mother, if you want to say goodbye to self-doubt, worry and confusion, and fully embrace the life that Allah has given you as a homeschooling mother, then I want to invite you to join my upcoming mini course this October called Enough to Homeschool. The link for that is in the show notes to this episode. Click on it, join us this October because you are enough to homeschool. And I'd love to see you fully embrace your role as a home educating mother. Because let's be real, your days are not going to be perfect. The education you give your child will not be perfect. It may be really fantastic, it may be excellent, but in areas it will fall short, just like it would in school. And if you can embrace the fact that you are imperfect, that your child is imperfect, but you're willing to grow and learn alongside your child and from your child, that is a really powerful way to step into education, to embrace your role as a homeschooling mother with that humility. And also what comes with that is a sense of flexibility. Because if you know you're going to make mistakes, if you know that things are not going to go perfectly from day one, then you expect to have to be flexible, to have to change things, to have to grow and learn. So I'd love for you now to really reflect on who you are and who you are being in your home. Are you expecting perfection from yourself? Are you expecting perfection from your children? Or are you open not only to learning alongside them, but learning from them? Another quality that you'll see in home educators is their resolve to do what is right, to do what is right for their child, to do what is right for themselves and their family as an entire unit, but also to do what they feel is morally right. As Muslims, we know what is right and wrong from the Quran, from the Sunnah, from the scholars of the past. That's how we determine what is right and wrong. And you'll see in people who've been homeschooling for a really long time, that resolve is so strong. Whatever difficulties are thrown their way, they want to do the right thing, even when it's hard. And it's easy enough to say, it's easy enough for me to say it, but life can get really tough and there can be a lot of difficulties and challenges. And I have no idea what difficulties you are facing right now in your life, and I don't pretend to understand. But all I can tell you is I've been doing this for a really long time and I've met a lot of homeschoolers, a lot of experienced homeschoolers, and I see in them this resolve. And that is something that I am trying every day, and I want you to do that as well, is to really solidify that resolve, to do what is right for your child, yourself, and what is right in the sight of your Lord. One way to remind yourself of that is to always renew your intention, your reason why you are homeschooling your child. Keep that at the forefront of your mind. And when difficulties arise, whether that's your child not being able to grasp a certain topic, struggling with reading or writing or maths or whatever it is, or perhaps they've started to say rude words or become a bit naughty or whatever it is, whatever difficulty you're facing, if you can renew your intention, remind yourself why you are doing this and why this is the right thing to do, then that is a quality that will see you through year after year and bring you back on the right track when it comes to making the right decisions in your homeschool. And another quality that I have seen in many homeschoolers who I know is this acceptance that the success or the failure of their homeschooling efforts is really not in their hands. They have this trust, this tawakkul in Allah, in God, that manifests on them in this immense sense of peace. When you're around them and their children, there isn't this tension and this stress and the worry that perhaps myself and other people feel. They demonstrate peace and acceptance, and with that, a lot of joy. And I think to truly be joyful with your children and feel peace at home, it has to stem from tawakkul, from trust and reliance in God. And so when difficulties arise with their children, with their family, with circumstances surrounding home education, they don't necessarily take it to heart. They don't make it all about themselves. Yes, there might be lessons that they can learn from it, but they also understand that this has come from Allah, and they look at it like, what am I supposed to learn from this? What is the lesson that Allah wants me to learn here? And I find that so inspiring when I see that in people. They don't make the difficulties around them about themselves. It is just about a lesson they need to learn, And likewise, they have this humility about them that, if their children do really well at something, they're not boasting and gloating about it on social media because they know it's from Allah and that success is not really theirs. It's a gift. Because if you don't look at your children's failures and successes in that way, what happens is you go on this emotional roller coaster. Every time they do well, you feel like you are doing well. Every time they are struggling, you feel like it's your fault. But if you have truly accepted that all of this comes from God, then it's all good. The good, the bad, it's all good. And that is something I've seen in people who've been homeschooling for many, many years. They don't take it personally. They just look at everything through that lens of what can I learn from the difficulties and how can I be grateful for the goodness that's come to my children. So these are some of the qualities that I have seen in people who have been homeschooling year after year. And I'd love to know if you have seen anything similar in your homeschooling communities or with people who you know who home educate their children. Let me know. Leave me a comment below the YouTube video or send me an email. I would love to hear what you think about this. Don't forget to join me this October for Enough to Homeschool so that you can truly embrace and step into your role as a home educating mother. I would love to help to support you with that. Go to enough2homeschool.com and join us. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today. Have a beautiful week. Assalamu alaikum.